Jambo, Salam Alaikum, Namaste and Sat Sri Akal. Welcome to Ammijaan's kitchen. Today we are going to make naan, and naan is basically Indian dough, Indian flatbread that can be eaten with any sauce that you make. Everybody loves naan, and I'm sure everybody knows naan. So let's talk about naan. I'm going to make a little bit of a herb savory kind of naan, but you can just make it without any of the herbs. It's your choice. So let's just go and talk about basic naan, how we make it. What I always do is bring the oven just to heat on 100, 150, doesn't matter. We're talking about 2 to 5 minutes heat, and then turn it off. So it's a nice warm place to rise your dough. That's the only purpose of the oven right now. We're not going to cook anything, just bring it to warm. So we're going to start with warm milk. So we're going to pour this warm milk in here. It doesn't have to be all poured in right now. I just want to show you how I can bring that yeast to rise. There's sugar. Now this part is kind of important. You have to stir that sugar until it actually dissolves into the milk. And the sugar is what's going to help to rise the yeast, okay? So we've got that going in there. And let's just add a little bit more milk. There. So that feels like it's almost all melted. It wasn't like boiling hot milk. Yeah, just tepid warm. Okay, so there we have that. And let's put the yeast in there. So we're just going to sprinkle the yeast. And that's what I do. I just sprinkle it like that, and then I leave it. Now this is the yeast that I'm going to go and put in that oven that has just been set to warm, and it's now turned off. And while that's doing its business, we'll try and continue over here and then bring this out again to add. So one little second and I'll be back. Hello again. So we are back. The yeast is doing its thing, and let's start by putting all the ingredients together. So let's make ourselves some room here. I don't know why I have these. So now just to talk about what we have, or what I'm going to do today. Most of these things could be optional. All the herbs can be optional, but these are your basics. So let's go back to the basics. We have flour. We have milk. We put a part of it in the other one. We have sugar. This is an egg. This is ghee, and this is salt. Okay? And then over here I have from the garden, which is just starting to come now, is the greens from garlic. These are chives from the garden, and this is just a little butt end of a leek, and I'm just going to chop a little bit of that in. And you can take this as far as you want, add rosemary, add thyme, add, depending on what you're eating. Really, the sky's the limit. Anything that you think in herbs that you would like can go in there, or you can omit all the herbs and just put a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed garlic, a fresh garlic, little clove. Okay, so let's start with our flour. So there's the flour. And you know, as in anything else, let's first introduce the dry ingredients to the flour. So, well, this one isn't very dry. There's the salt. Okay, and we'll leave those for a minute, and we'll just work on these guys here. So the leek, as you can see, I've kind of slashed it up as much as I can, because I don't want into big pieces that actually come in your mouth. You want nice fine pieces. And my other favorite thing to put in there, which I don't have today, would have been, if I had it, would be fresh cilantro. So that's a perfect thing to put in there as well. And that's about it, because now you're getting to the hard part of the leek, so I don't want that. So that's all I wanted really for leek, so that's why you can put as much as we said before, or as little. So there's the leek, and now here are the chives and the garlic. I put them all together, and just very fine, as you can see, just little tiny chops, okay? And if you had cilantro, I would probably leave it a little bit bigger, so you can kind of see the nice leaves. Those kind of lacy leaves would be nice in the cilantro. But basically, that's all we're going to do. Okay. And then once we put all these dry ingredients, we're going to add all the wet ones, partially mix it up, and then add that yeast mixture that we have, and see how far that goes. And then you will have to adjust the liquid to make the dough so it's nice and well mixed. Okay, so there we have everything chopped nicely, and we're just going to chuck them all in here. Okay, there. So that's that. And let's mix all that up. So you can see this is what you're after. Oh, it's almost stinging the eyes, that greens. They're kind of powerful. Now this is ghee. We've already discussed ghee a few times with you. Ghee is where I use vegetable. So you basically take the salt out of it. So that's going to go in there. And I'm just going to kind of like you do pastry. You know, you want to just chop up the ghee so it nicely mixes up in there. This is a good time actually if you want to get your hand in there just for the minute. And this is what you want to do with the ghee to give it that nice oat crumbly feel, not crummy. It's a nice crumbly feel, okay? And then, like I said, the liquids pretty much have to be eyeballed, you know, to see. But this is already looking nice and creamy mixture, light, fluffy. Okay, there. So this is, and it smells lovely. The color looks nice. So we're gonna stop right here. You can see some of the bits, kind of like pastry, where you still see the bits, okay? And just to make it simpler, it's going in the same place. I'm gonna drop the egg in the milk and then just dump the whole amount in there, okay? And I'm gonna stop right here because I want to add my yeast before I start mixing them. So give me 1 second and I'll come back with things. Okay, so we've come back and here's the yeast, just to give you an idea. It's come up nice and bubbly, okay? So we're gonna dump all that in there. And then I kind of keep this bowl handy depending on how much liquid I have. If I need any more liquid, I'll use that bowl and quickly warm it up in the microwave. A little bit extra milk, or at this time, if you don't want to fuss, you can just put a little bit of water. But have the bowl handy so you can use it. Now, I'm just gonna give it a good mix here. Sometimes I do the whole process in the food processor, so it's up to you, but of course it's easier to show you right here. Now I can tell, and I'm sure so can you, that this is not enough liquid. So I'm going to take this, add a bit more milk, warm it up, and come back. So here we are. I'm trying to put it together. You know what? I'm just going to move it over. This is what happens when you're only 5 feet. There. I got more surface here that I can actually get in there. So now you have to get in there and really, really knead this dough. You want it nice and sticky, but not so sticky that it's not releasing your hand there of the flour. That's what you're after. So I'm just going to break it and work one at a time because I'm not strong enough to do both. But that's an adjustable thing. So there. And really, really knead that dough. Just so all the flavors get mixed in nicely. Okay, there. That's already starting to feel really nice and soft. And then just squish it around a little bit more. And that's going to be one ball. Onto the bowl again. And then the other one. So just pick up some flour in there again. Bring it here. And the same thing that you did with the other one. Just knead it up a bit. There. Okay. And that's it. We're just going to tuck it all in. Make it into a nice neat ball. One more time. And you can see how nice those herbs and everything looks, and it's soft. You can squish it and it takes its time before it bounces back. Now we're hoping that this should double up in size. Once it goes back, this is what we're going to do now with it, is cover it up with Saran and a tea towel. And then I actually take a bath towel and wrap it up in there. So first you have the Saran to seal any stuff that might go in. Tea towel, bath towel. And I'm going to put it back in that oven that's nice and warm, which we use to rise the yeast. And I'm going to forget about it for a couple of hours. So you could do this early in the morning and use it at supper time. 2 hours minimum, and then you can go as long as you want after that. And we'll all come back to show you the next step of how we cook it. Welcome back to our next step. This is our naan video that we were doing, and we had rested the dough, so you can see I've got it all wrapped up nice and warm. Towel, tea towel, and then Saran wrap. And look at it, isn't that beautiful? So we're going to take the covers off. Give me a second here. And there. There you are. It's it's risen beautifully. You can see how nice and light and fluffy it is. So we're just going to pick it up. There. You can see it's all stuck together. Nice, light and fluffy. So we're going to move it over here and just give it one little quick one. I can see it sticking a bit. So what I do for that is just sprinkle a little bit of flour. Not too much. And now for the cooking of the naan, we do it two ways, depending on the weather. Like in the summer, we just do it outside on the barbecue. And now we do it inside. And what we do is we preheat the oven on broil. And we have an old pizza pan with the holes in it. I'll show you when we go in there. And what we do is I just spray it with pan, quick spray, and then put it in there so it's heating already. So by the time the naan is ready and I place it on that pan, it's not going on a cold pan. You want it to go on a hot pan and immediately start cooking. So you don't want to have that waiting process where you cook it and then you wait and then, you know, it's warming up. So it's this way, it's already getting heated up. So I've just divided this up. We'll show you a few and then I'll finish the rest. But here we are. So just, you know, pick it up, pinch, just like we do the roti. Pinch, pinch, and there. And then while you let it sit here, it's actually starting to continue rising in the meantime. Smells beautiful. So pick it up and pinch. And there we are. Okay. And then one more. There. And you can see how light and fluffy it is. Okay. Now, if you are, you know, in a hurry and you would rather just make it a quick job, then there's an option of taking a rolling pin. But if you have the time, I think the idea is to keep pressing it with your fingers. That's the best way to make naan. It's just press, press, press. Kind of like focaccia if you make Italian focaccia. So, you know. And the bigger and longer it is, you know, basically the shape you're after is an oblong shape. Not that it has to be, it could be anything. And then we will grab a rolling pin and show you that option as well. And it's just the same, basically, you know. This one is a little bit more tedious. But, so that's just one of those. You can make different sizes. You could have made this whole thing one and make a giant naan. Then you have less to worry about. But I like to make them into this size, you know, just a nice size. So this will obviously still stretch. And then we're going to let it sit again for a few minutes and it'll rise again. Okay, so yeah. I mean, it does take a bit of time, this one, you know. It's not going to be instantaneous, but all good things that taste good take a little bit of time. So there. And that's about as high or as long as I would go with this one. Okay, and now for the next one, let's grab a rolling pin and try that one. Okay, so here's another one we did by just stretching, you know. And if you get a hole in it, say hypothetically, you pull and you pull. Now it won't, and I want one. It's quite okay. So say it rips. That's okay. It's not a problem. You don't want it to become like a balloon. It's not one piece. So it could rip a bit, and that's okay. Honestly, it makes it lacier and lighter. Okay, so that's your, and now we've got a rolling pin just to give you an idea that you can roll as well. And there, so just roll. Try and keep it in the same direction. And don't flip it, roll on the same side. So you could almost kind of roll, and once you've got the size that you want, you can one more time just give it that little push and a pinch with the hand. Okay, so there's a rolling version of it. And again, it could be in any shape. It's just a naan bread. It doesn't matter. Actually, I think oblong is more traditional, isn't it? So here we are. We've got our naans ready. There's 3 naans just to show you for a trial. This is ghee. We've talked about it often enough times. And what's going to happen is when the naans come out, one side, the other side, then I'm going to put hot ghee on it. And oven is preheated on broil, but I have to mention to you, and maybe if you can come and see, this is my old pizza pan that I'm using. I've sprayed it with Pam, but you can see it's not right up against, it's one shelf down from the actual heat point. So here comes a bit noisy, there we are. And now let's just drop the naan. So this is what I meant, the pan is already nice and hot. It's not a cold pan. And all 3 naans go together so that you can make 3 at a time. And now let's put it in. You cannot have a time on this. It's basically eyeball it. it. It's only been a minute or so, and here we are. You can see it's starting to turn beautiful golden brown. Nice and soft, smells delicious. So I'm going to flip it over. Flip over this one as well. I think I'm going to just turn this one around. I have a gas oven, so, you know, it's a little bit different. Your electric one might be different at home, so that's what I mean about time, just trial and error. Leave it in there until it's nice and brown on one side. Use a pair of tongs, please, because it's going to be very hot. Flip it over, brown the other side, take it out, and put that nice ghee on it, which makes it all garam and melted, and then enjoy it with whatever dish you're going to make. So we'll come back in a few minutes and show you the finished product of the naan. Thank you. Here we are. Looks like it's happening pretty fast. So you can see this one is beautiful, nice golden brown. And here's my special container a friend of mine brought for me. That's my favorite there. I'm just going to centralize this, close this, and this is where we take the ghee. So just take, you know, just a thin layer. It's obviously fat, so you just kind of scrape the top and there. And this container is amazing. It keeps everything so nice and warm. It smells delicious. There we are, and I'll put that on there. Be a bit generous, enjoy it. You've worked hard, might as well have a little bit of fat with it. So you can make it, like I said, for any dinner. It's very popular with butter chicken. Check out my karai gosh video, and you know, just any sauce. Here we go, there's a third one ready. So you can see once they start happening, they're pretty fast. Okay, and that's that one, and I'll go ahead and finish the rest. Please like and subscribe. Do make this naan at home, and I love to hear from any of you, so please feel free and drop me a line. Have a good day. Thank you again for joining me in Ammijaan's kitchen.
रस्ते पे नैन में दिल ये बेचैन में रस्ते पे